All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Guys Podcast. Today we are doing L.A Confidential, rated R 1997 movie. Let's see. As corruption grows in the 1950s Los Angeles, three policemen, one straight-laced, one brutal, and one sleazy, investigates a series of murders with their own brand of justice. This movie's got a 99% critic score and a 94% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. The budget for the film was to make the movie was 35 million and it grossed in globally 128 million. Today we are without Andrew, but we are with a special guest, Nick Sirianni, who picked this movie. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. So none of us have seen it besides Siri, and he recommended this movie, saying it was one of his favorites, and we all watched it. And I mean, what'd you guys think?
Departed ripoff, as my friend Aiden liked to say.
Came out 10 years after.
Yeah, Scorsese made such a great movie that whoever the fuck directed this went back in time, remade it as a shittier version.
Well, and this movie is based off a book too, which I didn't know until after watching it.
Yeah, I was reading up on that. Siri, you ever read the book?
No, I have not. I should though.
Yeah, so I looked into
L.A.
it.
Confidential.
It is. So I looked into it, and apparently this is one of the few movies that people regard as this is better than the book, which is pretty rare. I feel like when a movie is better than the book, but yeah, which is pretty cool. Also, this movie came out the same year Titanic did, and Titanic won Best Picture, and this movie did not. So a lot of people that love this movie feels like this movie was snubbed of that. Which you can make the argument for sure. Mm-hmm. But also Titanic made $2 billion. This made 128 million. So
I don't know about Best Picture.
Yeah, I mean, the cinematography on this is good. And that's the one thing that I did like from watching it from start to finish was they had good camera angles. Mm-hmm. Like there's one shot in particular when he gets out of the car, when he goes to meet the famous guy at his compound or at his house. And it goes from his feet getting out of the car to a dolly shot going over his head. And I mean, you think like 1997. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, it's not. Sorry, this salsa's hot as fuck.
I read a thing online
Holy
that said.
Shit.
I read a thing online that said since they're wanted to capture like the 1950s LA lifestyle and everything like that, and being realistic as possible, they made I think the courthouse the biggest building in the whole movie, like the tallest building in the whole movie. They didn't want skyscrapers and all that other shit. So, which I think that's pretty cool. I didn't even notice it till after the movie, but I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say they did a good job of making it feel like the times. I feel like my only background to like this shit in like recent days would be playing like L.A. Noir or playing like Mafia, either one of those, and like that's a game, so they can like build their own world. But for this to have like real life shots, like they did a really good job of making it appear like it's the 50s.
Yeah, and that's what sold me on watching this movie was Siri compared it to that, to L.A. Noir. Which
well, it's funny
what it felt like.
Unprompted, I completely forgot about this movie that we were doing this until fucking 2 days ago. And last week I had an itch to play L.A. Noir for whatever reason, so I played it for the first time in like a year. So it was really funny because you texted that, Josh. You're like, reminds me of L.A. Noir, and I was like, what are the odds of that?
I think that's the only Rockstar game I've never played.
That's a good one.
Wow, really?
That's a good one. Yeah, it's a really good one.
It's on the Switch too, isn't it?
Yeah, they just ported
it over there.
Well, I say just, but it's been a while now.
I think the music is what really gives me the 50s feel, like with the intros, like every scene, like it's like a new chapter or something.
Yes.
What's the other like? Oh, Mafia.
Yeah, Mafia. Mafia 3 was really good. 2 was pretty good too.
Shut the fuck up. You can't compare 3 when 2 is the masterpiece.
2 is all right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I mean this movie is definitely. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I literally just turned it on last night, passed out. Mm-hmm. But I woke up, or I watched it when I got home today, and I mean I enjoyed it. I feel like if you look away for a second, like it doesn't make sense. Like you actually have to pay attention to this film, because there were parts where I was like, I literally would go on my phone for a second. I look up and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is good, but I feel like it is kind of all over the place. But like I said, I mean, it doesn't help. You got to be locked in.
Well, that's what I really like this movie in general. Honestly, I'm gonna give it a really high score, just a little bit of a spoiler, but I like movies that have subplots that are kind of leaning in different directions but still find a way to like tie in together at the very end and make it like this one big buildup. I've talked about it before. I like those big buildups. And like I said, though, it's cool that you see kind of Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe's characters kind of take these separate paths, but they're like obviously the main characters, but they kind of grow in together and their plots kind of twist in together. And obviously, we'll talk about the end, but come together and team up and defeat the bad guy, as they like to call it.
Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce, goated.
Yeah, fucking. I'm not gonna lie. It took me like 10 minutes of watching this, other than because Josh had told me Danny DeVito was in this, and I was like, "What the fuck is Danny DeVito doing in here?" But
his part was odd, but
I'm gonna talk about that in a sec because I really like his part. But so Russell Crowe, it took me like 10 minutes of looking at him, and I was like, "All right, dude, that's fucking him." Like he looks so young in that.
What?
Dude, he looks so young in
away,
that. Well, that's like why I was sitting there just like, I don't pay a lot of attention to the eyes, Mikey. I'm sorry. But
I mean, that's all you can look at. Like
it took me a minute, and I was like, once I like got into it, I was like, yeah, it's gotta be him. And then I looked it up and confirmed it. But no, right off rip, I like it. I like we get the monologue. I'm gonna apologize right now. I'm gonna constantly call Danny DeVito Frank because I absolutely adore him and Always Sunny. Joshua knows this. But no, Danny DeVito starting off and just like giving you the rundown of what's going on is fucking awesome. And he ended up what was that quote? It was at the very end. He goes, it's paradise on earth, but that's what they tell you anyways because they're selling you an image. And like that's funny as fuck. Just looking at Hollywood, like even today, it's the exact fucking same. And that's just how it's always been. And then you go into this whole story, and it's just the cops trying to sell you this image of them being good cops. And we see all this corruption happen. We see numerous people that do the wrong thing get killed, and then the department's gonna look bad. Let's spin it and make them look like a fucking hero.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. So I know we made the video game comparison earlier on, but I love so I'll compare it to one more video game, but I love how at the beginning of this movie, for the main three characters or main three protagonists, they show like their name in text. I like that, so you know who we're following throughout the movie. But what it kind of reminded me of, I know they're cops, and everything, but like this sort of reminded me a little bit of GTA 5, where you follow three main characters, and sometimes they're working together, but sometimes they're doing their own thing, and they're all they all each feel completely different and have the different motives and as to why they're on the force or why they do what they do. And
I love that a lot. Actually,
I love that a lot.
That's a really good comparison.
It was giving me straight up GTA 5 vibes. Like I love bouncing from each one.
This is gonna be a really shitty comparison. Don't roast me for this, but Gotham actually. Obviously like Batman, Bruce Wayne, the young Bruce Wayne, in that show, and then obviously. Obviously like subplots with like Poison Ivy
Gordon and stuff.
Like Gordon.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like that too.
Wasn't Penguin like a major character? Or at least he was when I watched it.
Yeah.
What about the Joker?
That's later seasons.
It's the last season. Last episode.
I can see that though, Mike.
Oh, there's another, back to fucking Danny DeVito. There's another cool point. It happened a couple times, I think, where he's talking and he's telling you the story of what's going on, but he's writing the paper at the same time. But we're getting images of what's actually happening, and the whole time in the whole time in the background, you can hear like the actual typewriter and like the click ting. I thought that was so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, it was like a cool way to have him narrate in the movie. I like that a lot.
Because it opened up and I'm like, who the hell is that? And I'm like, literally not even 5 words in. I'm like, that's Danny fucking DeVito. I'm like, what the hell is he doing in here?
I'm not gonna lie. I think this is the first like serious role I've ever seen Danny DeVito in.
You never seen him play Penguin in Batman? That was a good fucking role for him.
Yeah.
That was a good role. He bit that dude's nose off, and I've never looked at him the same.
Danny DeVito was in
he has some good ass movies underneath his catalog.
Matilda's a fucking banger.
Oh, dude, that's what it is. That's the best fucking Danny DeVito role ever,
he paid for them to be there. Danny DeVito's like one of fucking Hollywood's greatest treasures, dude.
Oh man,
and that's why him being on Always Sunny is funny because
that's literally
the opposite of who he is as a person.
Literally the best role for Danny DeVito was in Matilda, bro. Like I can't imagine anyone else playing that and like just playing it as well as he did.
Yeah,
I saw a thing. Role. I saw a thing for this movie where like. I guess they hired Russell Crowe first and Guy Pearce, and they're both like nobodies at the time, and they're both like Australians. They're a little worried. Like the main executive producers, they're like, "Are we not going to get any stars for this movie? Like, how are we going to get money like to have people see this film? Like, what are we going to do?" So then that's when they brought on like Danny DeVito and Kevin Spacey. So, which
Kevin Spacey.
Cool.
So seeing Kevin Spacey play a sleazy,
anything,
I was like, all right, cool. he's playing his niche, and then it ends up him being fucking like a good guy. And it's like, God damn it. Now we gotta like him, but we can't like him after what fucking happened in 2017 was when all that shit came out.
Yeah.
Not guilty.
Yeah, dude. And then I thought we were basically had damn near a Kaiser
Not
Soche
guilty.
moment at the end of the fucking movie. That was
Yeah.
crazy. Because what was that name? I have to ask you guys about that. I wrote it down. Rollo Tomasi.
Oh, yeah.
What was the point of that? Because that, like Aiden said, I thought I looked at my phone and missed something, but they didn't really explain it.
I can if you want, but that's the ending. So I don't know if
I
you
mean,
want
we can kind of get into it. I just want to
Yeah.
mention right before we get to the ending part where Siri explains this. I did look up this movie after watching it, just to kind of see what people's thoughts were on YouTube. And it's really funny. Most of them were not review channels, but reaction channels, and they're reacting to the movie for the first time. And all the scenes that the videos start with is when Kevin Spacey's character gets shot. My jaw
Yeah,
dropped.
dude.
So
Dude, that was
you guys want to talk about
crazy.
that really quick, and then we'll get to the ending part.
Kevin Spacey walking in there, bro, and he just fucking when he gets popped, I was like, wait, like he was actually in the right.
Yeah.
I thought the whole time he was gonna double cross somehow, like he always fucking does in something.
Mhm.
And then no, he just gets fucking killed, and you're like, what?
Well, that's kind of early out. That's kind of like it's before halfway of the movie or what?
That's
Yeah,
all right.
It's like the last
Yeah, it's
45
about
minutes.
halfway. So that's why
It's
I mean
in
when
the
I saw that
ending.
part, I was literally looking at my phone and I hear a gun. I'm like, oh fuck, and I see Kevin Spacey bleeding out. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm
Well,
like, so that's when it got my attention. It was kind of dragged out a little bit. But they're introducing all the characters and showing like who's corrupt, who's not, who you think is,
Mhm.
like building that story. And I thought that was like a huge turning point in the movie. And then also which is kind of the dumbest scene, is when he goes to the one girl's house and her mom's there and there's dead bodies underneath, but they don't like maybe I missed the explanation behind that.
Behind what? Why there's a dead body underneath?
Yeah.
what do you mean?
They killed the cop because they were trying to steal the heroin. The ex-cop, Buzz.
Yeah.
But they didn't show that, did they?
No.
No.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
No, but
it's
they
just
explained
something.
Because
So
again,
that's
you're
what I'm saying.
putting
I missed it. I
you're
thought I
putting
missed a
together
scene.
you're putting together the story with them in that
Yeah.
sense.
Mhm.
That makes
Because
sense.
you don't know what's happening, and then he
No.
just goes
But,
over there because he had it
Brian,
on a hunch.
Getting back to your point, pretty much the whole reason that Kevin Spacey's character told him that was simply just to kind of, because it was only him and Exley knew that, and he told Dudley that just
Mhm.
because like nobody else would pick up on like Rollo Tomasi, like besides Exley.
Yeah, well, see, that's what I was thinking, and like that's what I figured. But at the same time, I was like, "Who the fuck is Rollo Tomasi?" But that was what I missed. Was who was it? Nah, I understand why he did it.
It's
you
just
know?
it's a fictional made up person.
Oh, okay. But yeah, he goes, Rollo Tomasi. You're the guy that
It's
gets
just
away
it's
with
the
it.
bad guy in Exley's story of his dad dying.
Yeah, because
okay.
they never caught the guy who killed his dad, so he named
Yeah,
him
because
that.
then I was
I thought
reading that online. They were, I thought people were trying to say that, what's his name, Stanley, that he had killed Exley's dad, and I was like, no,
I thought
that's
some
not.
crazy shit like
I didn't think that they were
Dudley killed
implying that.
Exley's dad or
No,
something like that. Like I thought that's what they're gonna kind of get
but I
at.
mean, it wouldn't be too far fetched to even think that because of how much corruption we've seen.
But
in
that's the
this
thing is
fucking
he could
movie.
have, because he's old as shit and he's been in the force for who knows how long.
Yeah, dude, that setup scene was fucking crazy when they're all sitting there, and then or when they're both sitting there, and you just see all the cars start pulling up, dude, and they just fucking run into the one hotel room and start boarding it up.
Well,
They
I
have
had
one
I had a
shotgun
little
and two
nitpick about that.
pistols.
So if you're planning an ambush and you're cutting all your ties, and this is pretty much it, why wouldn't you try to get there before they arrive there?
Yeah,
I thought the same thing, but that doesn't advance the plot.
No, it doesn't. I get it. I mean, again, it's a little nitpick, but I just thought I'm like,
Walk
And
up
then
to
also,
the-
who's pulling up with the lights on like that? All four of them did, so they knew what
Oh, yeah.
angle they were coming from.
listen, 1997, they didn't have the
Mhm.
biggest brains or anything along that line.
Kubrick was making bangers, bro.
It was.
no, and then that whole scene, the shootout, like so much anxiety. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
because I wanted them both to survive so bad.
Okay, so can we talk
it
about
was
this
good.
really quick? So when
Sure.
I see, okay, like it's obviously spoilers before you watch anything that we do.
Yeah.
But when I seen Russell Crowe in that car right at the end,
Mhm.
my face lit the fuck up, dude. I was
Yeah.
so happy.
Well, dude, yeah, I was pissed right there. I was so mad right there. I was like, so this prostitute, this ex-prostitute, shows up. Well, what's his name is like being a piece of shit, you know. I mean, technically, he played his cards to get himself out of it. It's not beyond what everyone else has done in this movie, and arguably, he's probably the best one to get away with it because he actually did something good.
You're referring to
but
Lynn.
no, Yeah,
Hey.
and then Lynn shows up and it's just like, what is this cuck ass bullshit going on? And then you go outside and Russell Crowe's and it's like, dude, this is actual cuck bullshit. Like, what is happening? They went, dude, and that was the thing too. They became Eskimo bros, and then
Listen,
they fucking team up and tear
But
down
they
the
set
city.
him up.
but
They,
listen,
like,
It was a setup.
if
how
I was
it a
actually
setup? Was she
when
paid
Danny-
to fuck him?
No, when Danny DeVito was taking pictures of him.
That's my concern. She shouldn't have even fucked him.
she
Nah.
wouldn't have.
She was
unless-
instructed to, though.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
instructed to.
Oh, so she was instructed to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it was
that's
a
why she
setup.
looks at the window.
That's why the
where
guy
he's
calls right
taking the
before that
pictures of.
scene.
Yeah, well, okay,
Yeah.
so I figured that was a sting, but then I was confused.
And then
on
Dudley's
that.
the one that set it all up.
Yeah, he's
So-
trying
Yeah,
to
because
trying
he's
to
trying
drive
to
a
turn them
wedge
against
between,
each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I was
that's
gonna
why he
ask-
did it.
Cool.
I was gonna ask Siri because I feel like this movie really like goes a long way when you watch it again or when
It
you
does.
rewatch it.
It
Yeah, I
does.
feel like I really want to rewatch it. I probably will next week again because the way we do these is, and I shouldn't do these for brand new movies because recency bias and all that shit. But I literally just watched this movie a few hours ago just so I can come in fresh. And usually when we do that for like movies I've seen before, that's no big deal. But I really should, watch these way beforehand. But yeah, this I figured after watching it, I'm like, damn, I really want to rewatch that because I feel like I'd noticed a lot more things. And then
This,
like Dudley really wants that case after when they go to the diner and everything like that. So
Yeah, you can see how
Mm-hmm.
he inserts himself and how he actually maintains control over the situation he's dealing with once you watch it again.
yeah,
And I mean, you can kind of tell when he's interrogating like Danny DeVito's character and shit like
Mhm.
that, even prior. Like, why is he wearing gloves? Why is he just killing innocent people? Like, he's got to be behind it.
Yeah, because you
That's
don't
what
know
kind of sells it.
you don't know like exactly what he's thinking the first time you watch. You're like, oh, maybe he's just trying to be involved,
Yeah.
or because he's the
Or he's just a
captain,
corrupt
obviously.
cop, but then
Yeah, but
you
you
find
do-
out that he's
You
more
don't
of the...
you don't think he's the head of
This is
the-
how I view this as. This is why I think this is a good movie, because I wish I could go back and rewatch this for a first time again. If I can say that about a movie, then it reaches that top tier for me, honestly. And I really truthfully can say that about this movie.
yeah, dude. And like I said, too, the anxiety, like that last 45 minutes is insane.
Yeah.
Like once Kevin Spacey dies, you're like, holy shit. Like,
Well, yeah,
I don't
because at
know.
that point
Good.
it's just a race against the clock, and they have to be ready for anything. Like Russell Crowe pulls up, and he like basically says, "Yeah, like I figured there's going to be a setup," and he's like, "What?
I got
Why
up
would you
with
come?"
I got up with like 15 minutes left in the movie. I paused it and I only seen that there was 15 minutes left. I'm like, fuck, man, I wish there was more. Because like it's those subplots tying in together at the end and everything
Mhm.
kind of coming into this one big thing. It's cool. It's awesome to see stuff like that.
There is a lot of shit that happens in that 40 minutes, like you said. I mean, he like, I mean, I don't know the names, I can't remember, but he bangs his girl. They set him up, and then he
Actually
goes back.
bangs Lynn.
Yeah, he finds out, and then he whoops her ass.
Dude, okay, I was gonna say
he beats the shit out of her. And she still stayed with him.
that is a funny scene, not the beating of the woman. That's bad. But the fucking dude, he slaps her, and it's like little sissy slaps, and then he sits there. It's like almost like he wants to piece her up. And I was like, dude, this is just bad acting now. Like
Okay,
that was the only scene where I was like, that is just bad.
And then she
acting.
comes in the office. Her face is literally looks like she got like Mike Tyson punched. I'm like, bro, like, okay, I get it, but no,
Yeah.
no. And if I was, but I wanted to say this earlier. If I was Exley and Bud walked into that office and he was about to beat my ass, I would have said, listen, bro, never wife a hoe. That's the exact words I would have told Bud the second he walked in that office.
Bro, no, I felt so good in that. I can't even lie. And again, it's cool how their dynamic worked because again, you want to like you have a love-hate relationship for Exley. And it's just like, holy fuck.
I was on Exley's side the whole time. It was Bud.
I
that
kind of
had.
wasn't because I was team Russell Crowe. I'm not for all the corruption, but Russell Crowe going around getting answers one way or another, and he's usually right. You know,
I was more Exley.
They don't tell us about Russell Crowe beating the shit out of innocent people.
Exley
we
is
don't care
way
about
more
that.
ethical and way more moral about things. Like you can't just go around muscling people around.
I mean,
Bud.
you can't.
He
You're
did,
right.
and he
You
was-
can't, and you shouldn't. But when I'm watching a movie, I'm voting for Russell Crowe on this.
Yeah, especially when he went into the house and found the girl tied up to the bed, and then
Yeah,
he
bro.
shoots the shit out of the guy.
Yeah.
and
See,
then
now
he
that was
plants the
unethical.
gun.
That was bad.
Well, listen, it's cool. It's cool that Bud does all this, but the fact that he still turns into his father and slaps the shit out of Lynn, like we didn't even talk about that part either. Like he literally turned into what he didn't want to.
Yeah, but that's
why
why he
Apple
ran
doesn't
away. He knew he
far
did
from the
it
tree.
wrong.
Well,
you say,
I'll
Brian?
say this.
But that's the thing is you got to think that he becomes his dad, and then what is it, Uxley or what's his name?
Actually,
Exley, he becomes his dad.
Well, no,
Mhm.
because his
Becomes a
dad's
hero.
dead.
Well, yeah, but he's
whose
still
dad's
died on the
honorable?
line.
Actually, his
Yeah.
dad is honorable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say this, and I love this about the main three protagonists is there's a point where I didn't like them, and then there's a point where I really did like them. At the beginning of the movie, I didn't really like Guy Pearce and Kevin Spacey's characters that much, but I liked Russell Crowe's character a lot. And then as we got to the later half of the movie, I was not starting to like Bud as much because of the whole slapping thing and kind of becoming what he hates the most, and all this other stuff. I mean, I liked him at the very end, of course, but like there was moments where I was up on the characters and then down on the characters. And like with Exley and Jack at the very beginning of the movies, Jack's kind of like this prick who, walks around like he's a movie star, and then Exley's like a know-it-all snitch, little bitch. So like I didn't really like either of them either. So it's like,
I mean, but like,
and then now I ended up loving all three characters, which I like a lot.
Yeah, and again, it's
that.
cool for a movie to like make you go through the whole cycle. And again, Exley is literally wrote to not like. Like if you're a giant rule follower, sure, but like I don't know. And again, he wanted to do the right thing. And again, you want to root for him, but at the same time, it's like the mentality, the mob mentality. You want to follow damn near these people you don't even know you're just watching. Because when they come in and they want to beat up the Hispanics and he's trying to stop and they lock him away, like that was bullshit. Like, yeah, Exy was in the right for that one. And then, but then it's like, and again, then he's put in that tough spot. Is he going to snitch? Is he not going to snitch?
I don't know. For me, I think I was by Exley pretty much all the way through, even from the beginning.
I'm gonna say I did like him, but and then again when he fucked Lynn, I was just kind of like, bro.
Yeah, that's probably.
And then, what made me upset was because then I was just like, well, how are him and Russell Crowe going to be friends now? I was ready for them to be friends, but I didn't know how it was going to happen.
Besides getting one off, why did he do it? Just because he was horny? That's the only reason he did it.
Remember, he was watching him through the window with the other guy.
Okay, so that's another thing too. Danny DeVito's character, I always thought that was so weird and so like just.
Bro was the original Nightcrawler.
Yeah, I mean, he was literally just working for everyone.
I know, but that's just like not how things are. Like, like that's so set up.
But Mike, Exley was big in the news at that time because of the diner and everything like that, and he cracked the case technically.
I'm not saying I get that 100%. I'm just saying the way he does that, even with Kevin Spacey's character, like setting celebrities up and getting pictures of them, like that doesn't even happen in real life.
And that's why like Kevin Spacey's character's got such a great story too, because he's got the regret of being this scumbag. And like he's sitting there in the bar and he's looking at that $50 bill that he was paying for Danny DeVito. And like they all have their own great stories. And too, you could make the argument that each of them are selfish at one point. Exley's selfish because of his career. Russell Crowe's selfish because of what he endured as a kid, watching his dad beat his mom, and that now he needs justice for all these women. And then like even like Kevin Spacey's jealous or selfish for his own character and how he looks and being rich and wanting all this fame. So I liked, and that's bringing it back to like there's points when you don't really like these characters and there's points where you really do. So
you get Eyes Wide Shut vibes when he fucking found the card for the first time.
I did.
Like, he found a club. He found an elite club.
What about when Bud becomes like fucking Bucky Barnes and he's just sitting there like taking everyone out? He's like a robot. He's literally brainwashed, and they just have him do all the dirty work. Like have him flip the chair. He's
the muscle.
Temper nonstop.
That's why Dudley likes him, because he doesn't question anything. He just does whatever he's told.
That DA scene where Exley and Bud play good cop bad cop.
Yeah,
and they hang him outside of the window.
Dude, I was like,
they
gotta fuck him up here. And then he said the thing, and he said something about kids, and then he just fucking bashed his face into the glass. I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, so what made me really like Exley was the interrogation scene.
Dude, he was good. Yeah, was good. He was smooth as fuck.
Well, that's why everyone was giving him shit, because that's early in the movie, and they want to get rid of him, obviously.
And then they
go ahead. No, they just showed him, and what was the main guy's name? Dudley.
Yeah, well, there's the
captain. I mean, he's fucking good.
That interrogation scene is sweet, because it kind of just starts and you think like, oh, he's just gonna interrogate him, no big deal, and then slowly it starts to build and you realize that he's like coming to a conclusion that he's going to get him to confess to the Night Owl murders, and then it switches and they find something out that they weren't even looking for.
Yeah,
in the first place.
It all just starts playing together, dude. Like when he started the audio, bro, and just has them working against each other.
How does he why did he feel so confident going in there? He just
because the bullet match. The shotgun was planted in it. The shell matched.
No, I'm saying, but like
that
if
was
he was
so
new,
obvious
like,
that those shotguns
if he just came in like it's not like he's fresh on like the scene or like fresh in the I don't know what you could say, that police office.
Like
Oh,
as a
actually?
detective.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he
Yeah.
just
He's an
became
ex-detective.
detective lieutenant, so it's
Yeah,
like
I
he
don't know,
wanted to
but
show
again, he
off,
seems
Oh,
like
yeah.
a
and he
smart
wanted to beat his
guy.
case.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Gotcha.
think he just sat back and watched for a while. And it was like, I could fucking do that.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Plus, you got to
Yeah.
imagine with the cop dad, he probably picked up a thing or two.
Yeah. Well, have
Oh,
any of
yeah.
you guys ever seen Memento?
Yeah.
The best Guy Pearce
Which
movies
one
of all
is
time.
that?
That's the Guy Pearce movie, Scorsese movie,
That sounds so fucking
where
familiar.
he has Alzheimer's basically, and he just forgets everything, so he has to write it down. He tattoos it on his body, like
Fuck
telling a
yeah!
story.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't
It's
seen the
on
whole thing, but I
Mike.
have
If you
seen
like
bits
this
and pieces
movie,
of that.
man, fucking, that's a great ass movie. And that's why I
Okay.
watched this. I'm like, God, Guy Pearce is like, I
Mike,
don't
you know what else
he
Guy
played in
Pearce is in,
before
right?
this.
Shut
Where he's the
fuck
villain
up.
of something? I
Shut the
couldn't
fuck
remember.
up.
What's the villain?
Flashpoint.
What
Shut
was
the
he
fuck
villain
up.
in, Mike?
I don't know. You tell
But
me.
no, I highly recommend Memento. I mean,
Was it
that's
Arrow?
like, I watched this. I honestly think I enjoy Memento more than this, but
Guys,
I do like the story that this tells.
Guys, I need to know, what was he a villain of?
Iron Man 3.
Brian, shut the fuck up.
It's Iron Man 3.
Oh, you mean the best Iron Man?
So Siri, would you consider this maybe top 25 film in your opinion, like of all time?
Yeah, I love
Of the
this
ones you've
movie.
seen?
Yeah,
Would
I
you
love
put it higher?
Yeah. What about 15? Top 15.
I'd say probably top 15. I don't know if I go top
Okay.
10. I'd say it's probably between 10 and 15.
So the Rotten
Now-
Tomatoes scores doesn't surprise you, right? With the 99% from
No,
critics
absolutely.
and 94.
No, absolutely not. 'Cause
Honestly, I might put it in my top 25. I think I would probably put it in my top 25.
I think it's
Now-
a sweet movie.
Now,
I mean,
Siri,
I know
that is
recency
good.
bias just because I've just watched it yesterday, but like I was really impressed with this movie, and like I don't know what pulled me in right away. Like I wasn't on my phone at all throughout this movie, and I was pissed that there was like 15 minutes left when I paused it to put like chips away. So like this was a really good movie, man. Honestly.
Siri, how does Kevin Spacey compare in this to Usual
Real life.
Suspects and Seven? I feel like those are two
Um,
movies that came out around this time. Where do you put this movie in there, Kevin Spacey wise?
I don't know. I feel like probably lesser of probably third out of all three of them, just because his
Mhm.
role is
That's kind of how I
very,
felt.
very
get-
minimal Kevin Spacey in it. He's not in it for as
Yeah.
long for obvious reasons. He gets
Yeah,
cast, but
but
but he was good in it for when he was in it. I thought.
good.
um,
Because I was getting that vibe the whole time. I was like, damn, this kind of makes me want to go watch Kevin Spacey movies from back in the day.
mhm.
What about,
No, and you know what him being
21?
capped reminded me of too?
21's a good one.
Yeah, and American Beauty I think was around that time also. I think it was like early 2000s.
Was American Beauty really that old?
Yeah,
I don't remember that. Holy shit!
I think it's 2001 off the top of my head. But another thing, and we mentioned the movie earlier, Departed. When spoilers for Departed, I won't spoil it too hard, but
Everyone
I mean, I guess I
fucking
will.
dies. Literally everyone dies except
Well,
for Matt Damon.
Yeah, so Kevin Spacey getting capped reminded
Matt
me
Damon dies.
of
Mark
when the
Wahlberg.
elevator no, when the elevator scene opens or when the doors open for the elevator, you guys know who I'm talking about, that character when he gets shot in the head. I'm like, damn, like that it's the same shock factor, and I like that a
So
lot.
real quick, when I'm watching this, like when he shoots Dudley in the back, I'm really expecting the cops to pull up and him showing his badge from that back shot and just getting lit up.
No, I don't think so.
I was expecting that.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting.
Because I mean, that would be an
can see
actual
why.
twist. You're like, okay, now come on.
or
Especially
dude,
Josh
you'd be like-
saying, "Oh my god, that ending." I'm like, all right, I hope he dies here.
Dude, you'd be
But it
like,
doesn't
Dudley really
happen.
has his hands in everything, is what I would think.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
100%. Like even if he's still alive, because he only gets shot in the back. It's not like
It's
he's
with the
fucking
shotgun,
shot.
though.
With
Do you
the-
see
with
the-
the
do you see the
12
way
round
he's laying?
Yeah, but I mean,
Dead,
that's
man.
still like
Dead.
like a
we've
pistol.
Seen,
Maybe
we've seen plenty of other movies where people have gotten shot closer
All
than
right.
that.
Well, I
Stay
think this
alive.
movie does a good job of being realistic in the fact that when you get hit with a 12 gauge, you're not coming
Yeah,
back.
you're
10
fucking
feet behind.
dead.
We don't know the fucking
You're
caliber.
fucking dead.
Yeah. Well, and then that's the thing too. I already fucking forgot his name. Guy Pearce, Guy Fieri. That motherfucker didn't want to become his
Exley?
dad, and then sure enough, pulled the trigger instead of trying to get a confession.
Dude,
'cause he
I would have
knew
been
there
so
was no
pissed if you let
confession.
him live, though.
Well, he literally
Yeah.
said
Oh,
he
I
was
would have
gonna
been
walk
too.
it.
I
I
wish he
was
would have
yelling
fucking.
at the
I
screen.
wish he would have fucking blasted
Well,
it in the
'cause,
fucking
yeah,
house or the hotel.
He knew he would
Yeah.
get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What did you guys
it
think of the ending where they kind of like swept it under the rug a little bit, made him
I
a
thought
hero?
I think that was like best case scenario. I mean, you didn't
They-
really want them to win.
I didn't think that they would come out and say, I mean, I thought that was normal. They can't make a big deal about it because then they show how corrupt they really were that
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah, like
I
it made
kinda-
sense. It felt realistic to me.
I wish they would have, honestly.
I mean, it would have been nice, but
Yeah,
could've,
it's what
but
the
I mean that's
viewer
kind
would
of the
want,
whole conversation between the girl and Guy Pearce's character when he goes, some of us get trips to Arizona and whatever she says after that, and then someone gets the world. And obviously he
No,
gets
she
the world
says
'cause
someone
he's-
gets the world, others get an ex-prostitute and a trip to Arizona. I thought that was a really good line. That's the only
yeah, and
reason
then
I
that's
know
the
that.
basis. It just wraps everything up.
And I'll say this too. I like the Lynn character a lot also because I felt like she was like the smartest person in the movie at certain points. Like she could just look at someone and read them right away. Like when Exley shows up, like she read him like a book, even though, yeah, she was supposed to fuck him, but like still she
She
like
did that
broke down his character.
good
Bud's
brain.
character too. Yeah, I did like her character a lot. I thought, and she had some good
Did
one-liners
that
too.
off the dome.
She had a lot
Yeah.
of substance, and she was a really emotionally intelligent character, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I liked her because then even right before she fucks, I always forget his name now.
Exley.
Exley.
Such a dumb
She's
name.
like, "Fucking me isn't fucking Bud."
Bud, yeah.
It's like, damn.
Well, and too, like after Bud hit her, obviously, like it's not acceptable, but it's like she knew where
Yeah,
Bud
she
came
was
from.
sitting there crying because she already knew what she did.
Yeah,
Like she
yeah.
expected him to show up, and again, that doesn't justify him hitting her at all. But again, she knew that she had fucked up and hurt someone.
And I think she
and
could
the
see how
way-
much he cared about her.
Yeah, well, and again, the way that she told Exley about it, like literally, she goes, she doesn't see me as this porn star that looks like this famous person. She sees me as Lynn. Which also, side note, that was so fucking funny when Exley and fucking Kevin Spacey, I don't even know Kevin Spacey's character's name, but they go to the
Jack.
restaurant and they're like, I'm not taking this from a whore that looks like, I don't know, Anna Taylor, whatever the fuck he said. And then Jack just starts laughing. He goes, "That is her." And she throws the drink in his face.
Yeah, so I was gonna save this for trivia, but because Brian brought that up, I want to mention it. Her name's Lana Turner, and she was in real life dating a gangster, so that's real. Bloody
Nice.
Christmas did actually happen in real life,
Oh,
and the
shit.
murders of Tony Branquito and his brother also occurred in real life. And there's multiple other different things that happened throughout this movie that happened in real life, which I did not know until after seeing the movie. So that's pretty cool.
I will
And
say,
I like how they threw that stuff in.
so I will say for Pierce is his name, right? The one that dies with the suicide note, the one that's kind of running everything.
Like the guy that actually
yeah.
ran the porn star ring.
You're talking about the
Yeah.
famous guy.
He ran the porn ring and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he was pulling the strings. I thought there was gonna be a little bit more with him. I mean, that if there's one thing I can change about this movie, it'd be a different way that he died. Or a different way that the power between
Well, did he
him-
actually commit suicide? Or did they
No,
make-
No,
No.
they suicided
Yeah.
him, bro.
No.
Yeah,
They
no.
broke his fingers.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and then that was cool too. I feel like if I would have watched this movie first, I would have had an even better appreciation for the movie The Nice Guys, because this is Russell Crowe once again trying to help out a porn star.
So that's what that movie. Yeah, his character kept reminding me of that
Such a
because
good
in that
fucking
movie
movie.
he's like the
Yeah,
muscle
that's-
too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
pulls
The whole
you?
time, bro.
What pulls you to that though? Like, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna shut up.
What do you mean?
Nothing. I'm gonna shut up.
What do you mean? What pulls you to that?
Say the W word.
What?
Wow,
That's a W word. What?
Well, Mike, in The Nice Guys, he plays a detective in the 70s who is the muscle and plays a pretty similar character to this.
Mhm.
So that's what
Okay.
reminded me of that in
Just
that
a
in
lot.
that regard.
Just
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
older
Yeah, he's just a lot of and fatter.
and a lot fatter.
But he's still
But
mobile, and he can beat the
he's
shit
still
out of
mobile.
Ryan Gosling.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
No, it's a great fucking movie. And that makes me like watching this. I mean, I can't really tell you many Guy Pearce movies. I mean, I'm sure if you look them up, you can
Iron Man 3.
there's a bunch. Yeah, I mean that and literally Memento, but I mean it's good seeing him on screen again, obviously. And like a movie I've never seen or heard of before. So
Hey, Josh. What other?
Mike, be
movies-
honest. You wanted to say he was in Iron Man 3.
Hey, no. What other movie is Russell Crowe in?
Nice
Gladiator.
Guys, Gladiator,
He's the
300.
gladiator, baby.
He plays,
He's
he
not-
plays a
not
certain character in a
300.
movie that we've seen this past year.
I don't
Zeus.
remember. Oh, Thor.
Fuck you, dude.
Oh man, the MCU's so big that all these great fucking actors.
Well,
and
now
actresses
because
are
now
in it.
it's them getting a fucking bag.
Yeah, no,
Movies
but I definitely
guaranteed
want
to make
I
80
want to
million.
backtrack on what I said about Memento because I looked it up and I don't know what made me say. Or no, we were talking about Departed. Never mind.
Departed. Yeah.
Yep, never mind. Because that's a
Um,
great Christopher
the fuck
Nolan
up,
movie
baby.
where we get Oppenheimer this year, baby. Come on,
I'm
Yep.
excited for that.
Memento. Go watch.
All right, you guys want to
Memento,
get
man.
into trivia for this movie? There's some good ones.
Let's do it.
Kevin Spacey had a great deal of difficulty playing dead.
Kevin
It
Spacey
was
went to
with little boys.
He was
It
on
was
He
easy.
is a
plane,
what?
we know it.
Is,
He was on Epstein's
he
private
was-
jet. We fucking know it, guys.
Really, really. Oh, that's what it is. I really didn't know what happened with him. to be honest.
Yeah. So he got accused.
He did with
By
little boys.
yeah, and then he came out as
Came out
gay.
gay.
That was his like fix
After being
all
caught.
was like, how can I be a pedophile? I'm gay, and everyone's like, what?
Oh,
What is that?
Still doesn't fucking- Congrats on.
bro.
Congrats,
Yeah.
Brian,
You're still a
I was
fucking
listening to
weirdo.
Dave Chappelle stand up, and they mentioned the Kevin Spacey thing. Do you know what joke I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And they're like, they should have waited to catch him a couple more months so he'd get
yeah,
that last
because
season
he
of
must
House
have
of
finished
Cards.
House of Cards.
That's like messaging like a girl on like Instagram that's like
Oh,
underage and
fuck.
saying your account got hacked. Like that's just the dumbest cop
so
out
bad.
Wasn't me.
Yeah, so
well, I got hacked.
Yeah, so anyway, he had a problem with staring, so he would try to look into James Cornwell, who plays Dudley. He kept trying to look into his eyes, so they had to make a whole target for him to stare at, made out of paper, and for him to stare at, so he wouldn't keep like trying to drift his eyes.
How many movies
Um,
did he have under his belt at this time? Is this a
Well, at this
reoccurring
point, he
issue,
was one of the
dude?
biggest actors in the
What
whole
the
movie.
fuck?
So, yeah. At the time the film takes place, no building in Los Angeles was allowed to be taller than City Hall. So the cameras were placed at certain points so that any building taller than City Hall would not seem. When promoting this program, The Loudest Voice on Howard Stern's show, Russell Crowe said this was one of the two films he wishes that there's a sequel to. The other one was The Nice Guys, which we mentioned just a couple minutes ago. Guy Pearce did not exactly like Ed Exley when he first read the
Even
screenplay.
he
for
thought
the
he was
character.
a fucking nerd.
Yeah, he felt that he was overly self-righteous. James Ellery describes the character of Bud White as the biggest cop in the Los Angeles force. Noting that he wasn't exactly 6 foot, Russell Crowe decided to move into an apartment so small that he had to duck under doorways so he could barely stand up. That way he could portray the character better. That's kind of crazy.
That doesn't make you taller.
No, I
It's
guess
just
it was just getting the
like an idiot.
headspace of it.
Yeah. It's
And the last
habits
one
and
here,
actionisms.
the Victory Motel, where the climactic shootout takes place, was the only set actually constructed for the film. Pretty cool.
Nice.
I could when they were running in between two of the motel buildings, I could tell that was such a fucking set because of like the lighting and the way it was
Yeah.
shining down on them. They were
It
looking.
just looked like the woods ended. Like when they
Yeah.
showed the bushes, they like zoom in on the
I
ground.
was
They don't
like-
really
I was
like
like-
show the back part because there's no woods there. It's
There's
probably
the
just a black wall.
1997 I was
looking
yeah.
for. See the budget.
No, but what was funny was Russell Crowe popping out of the floor was so fucking funny to me. Like he shoots the dude in the face and then just fucking racks it twice and gets the two guys. I love that.
Well, it's crazy too when Dudley shoots him and it literally goes right through his cheek.
Yeah, I figured
You
that
just
he'd
see the
live,
bullet.
dude.
Yeah.
I was
I
gonna
thought he
say-
died.
No, you can
when
see
you
it in the
see it
cheek.
through the cheek.
Yeah. I figured he just lost some
Yeah.
teeth, so he'll be all right.
Yeah, see, I was
But
shocked
just
when I
to-
saw him in the car.
Although he could have lost significant amount of blood, he did get shot once
Listen,
already.
all I know is Bud's gonna be fucking slurping his food through his Slurpee straw the rest of his life, though, with
he's
Lena.
fine.
No, he's
I mean,
not.
he didn't speak in
He
the car,
couldn't
so
speak, bro.
Yeah, but I mean that's probably like fresh right after. What's his name still had a sling on.
Yeah.
I mean, just give it some time.
But yeah,
Yeah.
to backtrack off of Kevin Spacey being the most famous actor in this entire cast,
I thought you were gonna go somewhere
7
completely
came out
different with that.
95, so you got to take that into consideration.
Dude, 7 is still so fucking goated. I love
That's
that
a top
movie.
10 movie for
Ugh,
sure.
So fire.
Yeah.
Punch in the box.
Yeah, but go ahead. Or is that
let's
it?
see.
That's all you got.
No, that's all I had. I want to see when
Alright.
American Beauty came out. I don't see it on-
Siri, when did you first stumble across this movie?
Probably about 3 or 4 years ago on Netflix. I was looking for something to watch at like 1 o'clock.
It was on there?
Yeah, it was on there
Yeah.
for a while.
Must be fucking
Um,
nice. I had to rent this shit for $4.
Yeah, I spent $4
Okay,
on
But
Honestly, I wish I would have bought it because this is something that I truthfully wish I would
Let
own.
the boys speak.
But I was scrolling through and I found it. And I saw the title and I saw L.A. Confidential. I was like, oh, that kind of looks like L.A. like noir. I click on it
Nice.
and I saw it was obviously Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, and Kevin Spacey. I was like, how have I never heard of this movie?
Mhm.
So I click on it and I watch it. And I, like Mike, I paid attention to every second of it for like the 2 hours and
17, 18.
17 minutes long as long as it
Mhm.
was. And I finished at like down at like 3 a.m. and I was like, that was probably one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Who is
Dude,
your who is your favorite character?
Bud
Are the
White.
three main. Okay.
Bud
Bud
Light.
White.
Bud
Bud
Light.
Light.
Bud Light.
Dude, yeah, no, as soon as I heard that, I was like, all right, well, at least I can remember his name. He's just BL.
God, Brian.
Oh, I mean, I googled the movie, looking at the cast, and it says people also ask, why is L.A. Confidential so good? Fucking great.
Yeah. I don't know. I think
Was this
again,
nominated for anything?
Best
It was
Picture, I
nominated, but it was nominated for Best Picture, but it lost
Looks
to
like it won
Titanic.
Academy Awards, I think.
Why?
Yeah, and I
like,
think
don't,
Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce were nominated for a couple too, but
I don't get why it'd be nominated for Best Picture. If anything, it'd be like just Best Movie or
Well,
something.
Best Picture
the
is
Best Picture is Best Movie.
Best movie.
Oh, I'm retarded then.
Yeah, you're good.
I was thinking. I was thinking of like.
You think
what's-
Best Picture means
best
best
look, like-
cinematography?
Yeah,
No.
they have a different award for that, but
Yeah.
yeah, Best Picture is like Best Overall Movie of the Year.
If that's
think
the case, then I mean, I get why Titanic.
That's why people were saying like this should have been like
I
it's a
get-
big
But
debate.
no,
Yeah,
but I mean,
then
if you're
you
gonna
have
put
a
this
super
and
movie
Titanic
like
next to each other,
Titanic. Yeah,
Titanic
it's just
is
a
like-
bad year, dude.
yeah, they didn't like.
Yeah.
People were fucking shocked when they saw that big ass boat. Like,
Yeah, they
how
thought
the
they
hell did you
were
make
in that
it?
shit.
Did you sink another Titanic? How'd you get that footage? Like, people were sick as hell.
Was the
So
iceberg
that's
real?
why, like, yeah, they're like, what?
I don't
Yeah,
get
I
why so
think-
many.
Like that. Like, Titanic definitely deserves over
I don't
this.
know.
I just feel like
This is a great story, but it's also a book, so it's kind of. I don't know
Yeah,
if that.
what were you
plays a
saying,
factor.
You had like Titanic's not getting pulled from an actual fucking event.
Yeah.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I said I don't know how that plays a factor.
Well, actually, Mike, you want to hear the conspiracy theory about Titanic?
Titanic
No,
never
here
we
even
go.
sailed.
Yeah, it never sailed. They just sank it in the river because it was a tax write-off because they knew that bitch was not gonna fucking hold up.
Yeah.
So they
Even-
sank it.
There's
So-
people
and
that
there
are
were-
alive
there
to
was
this
no
day
one-
that
What
said it
happened?
didn't
What
happen.
happened with all the people that were on it? They
There's
just.
nobody on it, bro. They just made that shit up.
But I'm saying like
it was a
they
good
just-
movie
They
plot.
disappeared.
There was nobody on the ship.
They disappeared in real life, and
There was no one
everybody
ever
that's
on it.
Yeah, there's
besides the
nobody
one guy
ever.
that
It's a
died when they
tax
built
write-off,
it.
bro.
So what'd they find in the middle of the Atlantic then?
Well, then that was Titanic's little sister that actually did hit an iceberg and go down. But the
Melantic is her
actual-
name.
Yeah, the actual Titanic didn't sail. That was
Right.
bullshit.
Mm.
Everyone knows that. It's common knowledge, guys. Come on.
So
Uh,
wait
like
so they
Amelia
they
Earhart.
they sank the biggest ship ever made in a river.
Yeah.
Not a river. Come on, Siri. Have some class here.
You
It was
said-
like a
you
lake.
said-
Siri. It was like a lake.
No, I think
Yeah.
it was a great lake.
It's Lake Superior, actually.
I think I seen it actually on Lake Michigan in the middle.
I
of
think
it.
they blew it
It's-
up. No, I
the
think they
tip's,
blew
like,
it up, and
pointing
now
out.
it's Niagara Falls.
They actually never mind.
Let's get into ratings, man.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
the narrative.
I just want to say really quickly, Siri, I can't imagine because Netflix is so fucking trash. I can't imagine being on Netflix at 1 a.m, finding a movie like this, and then at 3:30 in the
I
morning,
know.
sitting up and saying to yourself, that might be one of the best movies I've ever seen. I haven't had that feeling with Netflix in so many goddamn
not
years.
Netflix.
dude.
That's why I love this movie though, is because like it left me with that feeling at that time of like in the morning.
Nobody says that shit anymore, man. So
No.
that's awesome to hear.
No,
Bro,
mean,
I was
nothing's
pissed
better
at
than
myself that I
feeling.
went this long without seeing it.
Me too.
Yeah, when Josh
I
told me about it, he was like, "Yo, Siri told me about this," and he goes, "Danny DeVito's in it," and then I think he did tell me about Kevin Spacey and
You two
Russell
kinda look
Crowe,
alike, honestly,
and I
man.
was like, "What the fuck? Like, how have I never seen this?" And yeah, super fucking banger.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Well,
Yeah,
you want to
I mean,
let
it was a
Siri
great watch.
Yeah,
start off
Siri,
with
it's your
these
pick.
scores?
You're not new here. You know how the ratings things work. So you wanna go first?
Yeah. So I obviously really like this movie. My favorite thing about this movie is probably the way they tie together what seems really irrelevant as him just saying Rolo Tomasi. And
Mhm.
they obviously bring that together at the end to show you what it really means. And like even like when I watch it the first time he says that, and I'm like, what the hell was that supposed to be? Like that's not even a word. And they tie it together at the end, which is really sweet. And I love the music in the game. I love like that 50s, 40s feel it gives, especially how it compares it to LA Noir. So
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna go with like a 95 in my opinion.
All right.
Solid.
That's solid.
Mike, you wanna go
Brian?
ahead? Oh,
I can go.
Brian,
I can go.
doesn't matter.
So, I'm gonna start off with my score just because you guys are probably gonna drop your jaws with this. I'm gonna go a 98 out of 100. I truthfully really like this movie, to be honest with you, just from the star-studded cast. And even it's kind of early off in their careers, man. You know, they don't have too many movies underneath their belts they're not crazy big movie stars, but they're still kind of working their way up the ranks. But besides the cast, man, like I talked about before earlier in the episode, I really like the way they kind of tied the subplots together, and just the overall theme. And it's just a really great fucking movie. And I'm really pissed at myself that, like Josh said, that I went this long without watching it. But I honestly think this might be the highest score I've ever given a movie on our podcast, to be honest with you. We'll have to double check that. But I really, really like this movie. And I think it's probably top 25, if not maybe like a top 20, 15 movie of all time, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can go off that. I'm gonna say my score off the bat too, and it sucks because like we've done not to compare this movie to other movies, but like this month alone, we've done Moneyball, we've done what is it? Wolf of Wall Street, we've done Grand Budapest, we've done Eyes Wide Shut, and now we've done this. And all those movies are in the 90s, so I feel like I'm just shooting 90s right now. But like I'm telling you, in the future, we're not doing these great movies. It's just January is just a bunch of bangers. So I'm gonna give it also a 95, same score as Siri. And I wanted to not give this movie such a high score, but like when I was watching, I'm like, fuck. I'm like,
I was gonna
Siri,
say,
you fucked
Josh,
me.
you actually texted us upset. You were like, "God damn it, that movie
I'm
was
like, dude,
really
I'm giving
good."
There's
everything
nothing
great
wrong with that,
scores.
man. I'd
No,
rather
there's
push like
not.
with what we have going on here. Like we should be pushing out good and great watches.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be any like we don't want to sit
I
here
mean,
and
it'd be
talk for an
more
hour on some bullshit.
fun if we got a good movie and someone just
Mm.
personally hated it, because then we
Yeah,
could all
but I
pick
mean,
at it.
yeah,
But like this
it's
is
really hard
like,
to hate a movie though.
yep.
That
Like
is.
I think there's one
What?
movie dead
Pretty
ass
fucking
that I
easy to
hate
me.
is March of the Penguins. That's probably the worst fucking movie ever made in the history of
Well, yeah.
since movies
So
have been around. That
I
shit is
mean, I
ass.
think this movie, like I just mentioned a couple minutes ago, I'm pissed that I went this long without seeing it. But it was like, it's really cool that like this month, just from the podcast, I watched Eyes Wide Shut for the first time, Grand Budapest Hotel, and then this for the first time. So it was funny because like a few months ago, I'm like, damn, like I want something new to watch, something that like I can an amazing movie where I can watch it and be like, wow, that movie's great, and like think about it a few days after watching it. And like these 3 movies this month have done that for me, so it's really incredible. And it's like, again, I'm just kicking myself. I'm like, damn, I wish I would have saw this sooner because the cast was amazing. Even the way they did the lighting, I saw a video on it where like
Lighting in that
they
final scene was sweet.
yeah, and like when they go and see that the one guy committed suicide, like when they run to his house and it's like the middle of the day out, they really wanted it to feel like the sun was coming in through the house, like have that like organic, like natural lighting. And you can tell throughout the whole movie that they have that. And just with and then there's scenes with like the rain when he's looking at the pictures of Lynn hooking up with Exley, like in the rain and all the pressing, and they just captured it really well. And each character had their own motives and stories, and you're just following along with them. So really, there's not much I can say bad about the movie. I really loved it. So, and I'm definitely gonna rewatch it probably this week, honestly. So,
Well, I'll go off of that. I'll say my score off rip as well before I forget it and change my mind. But I feel confident giving this an 88 out of 100. It is a great first watch, and I'm glad I did. I mean, it was good from start to finish. One thing, like I said, I mean, the camera angles, like that one shot alone that stood out to me was when he gets to see the guy that was behind all the prostitution ring and all that, and you see it from
Pierce.
Yeah, his feet all the way up to an aerial shot. So I mean, in that the scene where they get into the diner as well, when they're following the blood trail into the bathroom and there's just bodies stacked on top of each other, like what the hell is going on? Like who did that? And but I mean, what I like when you're talking about giving all these like good movies that we're watching high scores, I think like you can put that to the side because I go off of recommendations. So like Siri watched this and he recommended to us and we're here watching it now. And that's how like almost all great movies are. Like if you watch a movie and you immediately want to recommend it to someone, it's a great fucking film. So
no, and I want to just say really quick, I'm never gonna purposely give something a low score to not be in the 90s or where I feel. Obviously, I felt like this movie was amazing, so I gave it a mid 90s, almost high 90s. So like I'm always gonna be honest, but yeah, I know.
Yeah. But no,
That's
I
true.
mean for me, like giving this an 88, I feel confident because it is a good movie. Casting's great, story's great, but like I said, I mean, I went to bed last night, watched 20 minutes of it, passed out, went to work, and then literally got home and I watched it. So I was in a mindset to watch a movie, you know. So like if I were to on the weekend, like this weekend, I rewatch it and sit down for a full 2 hours, I'm sure I'll give it a way higher score. But
that might be the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life, Aiden. But
Mike, what the fuck did you do today? Did you
No,
work
like,
10 hours?
that truthfully might be the
Wake up at
dumbest shit.
6 a.m.
Why, like, you know you're purposely giving it a lower score just because you weren't in the mood to watch a movie. So why give
I
it
did
that
not
low
say
score?
that. I said that that's a great score to give.
Did
a
he
movie
not
that
just say that? Please tell me I'm fucked. Oh my god. All right, bro. Go on. Brian, you want to go?
I feel confident giving it an 88. I'm not gonna say, oh, never mind, change it to 98. I'm not tired anymore.
Yeah, so when it comes to score with this, I have the exact same score as Aiden. I'm throwing it at an 88.
Oh,
I'm
are you
only
sure,
saying
Brian? You
yeah.
sure? Are you confident, or are you not in the right mindset?
Oh no,
You
I'm in the right
said that, Aiden.
mindset.
You said you were in the mindset to
You
watch a
twisted my
fucking
words, man.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you
So
You're just fucking stupid.
shut the
No,
fuck
you're not.
up.
Go ahead, Brian.
So for this movie, I'm throwing it to 88 solely because it's a good fucking watch, but it felt predictable at certain points. Like by the ending, Josh has talked about the high anxiety movie at the ending. Don't get me wrong, it's fast paced and super interesting, but I wasn't sitting there at the edge of my fucking seat. I was just kind of like, all right, cool, this is what's happening. How are we gonna get to the end? And it was fucking great. But again, what sucks is we have seen movies like The Departed. We've seen movies like The Nice Guys, and it's just like at an extent, I wish I had watched this movie way fucking earlier, you know?
And it did come out before those, to be fair.
It did. It beat both of
sure?
those fucking movies. And it just, I don't know, it was a great fucking movie, but at certain points, I just fucking hated everybody in the movie. And I don't think that's good. Like Kevin Spacey, rat bitch from the beginning. Oh, Exile, what the fuck's his name?
Actually,
Exley.
you were saying it perfectly at the beginning.
Exley was a
So
fucking
stupid ass name.
just a stupid narc. And then Russell Crowe again. That's my baby. I love that dude. He can do no wrong in my eyes except for hit that woman, become the man that he hates. That shit sucked. But no, for a first time watch, fucking loved it. Absolutely loved it. But I also know that I came straight home from work and watched it, and I know I want to say it's a 90, but I know for a fact if I rewatch them, like, why the fuck did I give this movie a 98? Oh, because I just watched it and then 10 minutes later talked about it. Like, no, you gotta be realistic with this. And that's what I've been doing. Like, you can look back at all the other movies. Like in the past rewinds, I watch those shits like on the weekend and then we record later. So like this one had no time to sit with me, and I just don't think I could confidently give it a 90 because I don't know like the rewatchability. I don't even know if it's really there. Like I would like to watch it. I like Mike said, I'd like to watch it again for the first time and maybe not have to talk about it right away after because now it just feels like a job. But I still fucking love it, and I think everybody should watch this goddamn movie if you've never seen it before. 88.
All right.
And actually, I went back on IMDb at one point because I had to look up. I forgot what actor I was looking up, and they asked me to rate it, and I have an account, so I was like, whatever. I gave it a 9, and then I went back after I finished it and dropped it down to an 8. So I knew I was shooting in the 80s. I just didn't know if it was gonna be. I didn't know if I wanted to ride the fine line of 89 or 88. And then like before we started, I was like, 88.
So would you and Aiden not really agree with the Rotten Tomato scores?
No, I totally get it. Again, it's 1997 when this fucking came
97. They probably
Again,
they
like
must
I
have
said,
lied.
I mean, there's
I-
reviews now
I-
from these past few weeks that are in the hundreds.
I think
I think they locked it around 97. They haven't
Yeah.
had any.
I mean,
updates.
I'm not talking about critic. I'm talking about
Dude,
audience.
Aiden, listen, I'm looking at the website right now. Aiden and Brian are the same motherfuckers that gave
Well, okay, we'll say
that gave
Brian-
Gray Man an 86. So
Well, Aiden
No,
Aiden gave
hey,
Home
this
Alone
is
a
higher than
98. So
88. That's a great movie. Like I said, from start to finish. But
Gray Man
that's
was
not
fun to
just
watch. I don't
because-
even want to hear it.
But like I said, I mean,
86?
It's
what?
better than 86.
What is?
Gray Man?
Gray Man's better than 86. That's a great score for Gray Man. It could
Yeah,
be a
That
little bit
shit's
lower.
ass, bro. You gave it an
It was
86,
not ass.
Aiden?
No,
I
that's
know.
a good
I
movie.
said
That
86 is
that-
a perfect
that's a
score.
fire movie.
Whatever.
I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed this movie. 88, you guys act like that's a fucking an 8. Like it's a 0. Like
No,
it's
no, that's a
below
good score.
50.
It's a good
It's a
score.
great
I
score.
was just asking, did you agree with the
just saying.
99 that Rotten Tomatoes was giving? That's all.
No, I mean it is a good movie, and you got to think if you're like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like we've been spoiled with all these movies. Like I said, it's a knockoff of The Departed.
Yeah.
And it's
Even though it came out 9 years later.
Just
No,
because you watched
But that's
the
what I'm
party
saying.
before, it doesn't.
no, but
You know
that's
what's
what I'm
funny?
saying. But that's
You
how
guys-
it is.
you
If I would
guys
have
talked
seen this
about it.
before I've seen any of those other movies, like if this is a movie I saw when I was 8 or 10 years old and when I was younger, like 100% I would probably be giving it like, hey, you got to watch this movie. And then
No,
you
and-
see where it made like it's like Lord of the Rings, like how it's a staple and it went
Yeah.
on its way to form all these great movies that we see today. But
Well,
like this
that's
one,
the
you can
thing, when
definitely
Brian-
pull all these movies out of this one.
When Brian gave his reviews, it sounded like we had just gone to the theaters to see it, like that this is a trope and that he's seen this kind of ending to a cop movie multiple times, even though this came out way before to The
This
Departed
paved
or
the
any
way
of
for
those
those
others.
But that
fucking
plays a
other
factor
Yeah.
on
I mean,
scoring.
it does, because again, it's like I'm not in the mindset of, oh, this is gonna be the first time I've seen this trope. No, I've seen the trope 1,000 times, and this Departed wasn't as predictable as this one. Like I kind of had a feeling he was gonna clack that motherfucker at the end. I kind of had a feeling that Russell Crowe
The
was
Dudley
gonna
thing didn't
end
get
up...
you?
No.
When he shot Kevin Spacey, that didn't get you?
I mean,
That
a
shocked
little
me.
bit-
I
A
mean,
little
you-
bit, but you also knew that there was moles on the inside the whole fucking time. Nobody was safe.
Sure, but not Dud.
It's
It's
just
not
a
my
mother
boy.
of not. And again, I totally thought Kevin Spacey was going to be the fucking criminal mastermind at the end. So, like, yeah, was I?
That's
a
what
little
I
shocked?
thought too.
I was. I a
So
little
when he
shocked?
got shot
Sure,
by
but then it was
Dudley-
like, okay, yeah, this all adds up.
But Brian, I guarantee you wouldn't say all that if you watched this movie in 1997, though.
That's what I just fucking said, dude.
I know what I'm telling you. You
Bro,
wouldn't
that's like
say that.
someone tell someone that watched Star Wars for the first time when they're 6 years old. They're like, "Holy shit, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life." Now they watch it nowadays, they're like, "Wow, that is so ass."
Look,
Yeah,
guys.
well,
If we were
thank
allowed
you,
to
Siri.
disagree, I'm sorry.
Well,
me
if I
and
was-
Aiden
if I
weren't
was
in the
born in-
90s, but
Yeah, if I was born
Siri,
in
I'm
97,
sorry
I'd
these
probably
guys are
give this a
shitting
90.
on your 88
Shitting on
so
the-
low.
Not
That
shit on the
was
movie,
kidding,
man.
I'm kidding.
Hey, I would recommend this to anyone. But like I said, what plays a factor into my score is that it's a great movie and it's a sleeper. I've never heard of it. And like you said, I mean, it hasn't even been that long since you've seen it for the first time, Siri.
Mhm.
And it's like you said, I mean, it's literally identical to The Departed. And obviously, The Departed came out in 2006, but if I'm saying they're literally the same plot. So if I'm gonna go and I'm gonna watch, like, if I'm gonna recommend one, I'm definitely gonna recommend The Departed.
The graphics are better.
Yeah, they got a better camera.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Siri, for joining us. Sorry these guys shit on your favorite movie. One of your
It's
favorite movies.
cool. It's cool. Thanks for having
Siri,
me
I
back
gave
on.
it a higher. Don't say these
Hey,
guys.
Mike,
I gave
Mike
it a
I'm
and
higher
kidding.
Chris can
score.
No one
go
shit on
cuddle
it.
up in Mike's bed behind him and go watch it again.
Yeah. Thank you, Siri, though, for being on. We'll have you
Yeah, I
on again.
appreciate you,
obviously.
Yeah,
Siri.
appreciate
Thank you
it,
for the
man.
rec.
Yeah,
If you have
thanks
any
for-
more,
Good
send them our way. We're
recommendation.
definitely gonna watch them.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on,
We
boys.
should do a LA noir theme party here pretty soon.
Dude,
That's
I'm
it.
so down.
Or a
I
poker
just
night
listened to
at
the
your house,
whole. I
buddy.
listened to the whole LA Noir soundtrack not too long ago.
Quiet toots.
Yep, the Beat It Toots. When I posted that meme, I was listening to the whole fucking soundtrack.
We'll be
Yeah.
back Friday with our movie theater snacks tier list. That will be a good one.
Josh,
And
can we
then we're gonna
add-
talk. We're gonna talk Oscar noms too.
Josh, can
Beans.
we add
Big
the Beat
beans.
It Toots meme right here at the end? I can send it to you.
Beat it toots.
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool.
I'll talk to the editor.
There,
I'll get it.
there,
All right,
put it up right
appreciate
on
it.
this, right over this audio cue.
Yep.
Ready?
There we go.
And there it was.
Beat it toots.
All
Get
All right, boys.
lost.
right,
All right,
wait.
boys.
Can I
Peace
just?
out.
Does it load like this? Can you see it?
Yeah, I'll sound great. Go ahead and put it
You
up.
gotta
to
put
the
the
mic.
music over it.
Definitely don't let me just edit it.
Beat it.
It's in the background. All right, my fault. My fault.
No, you're good. You're good. All right, boys.
All right.
All right, peace out, boys.
Peace
Good
out.
night. Love you
See you,
all.
boys.
Peace
Yeah.
out.
Peace out.